Hey everybody, this is Reapy, and today I thought of doing something not completely Halloween related, but we're going to make it kind of Halloween related. This is going to be 5 of the most underrated things, in my opinion, in Puzzles and Dragons. Now obviously there's more than just 5 things that are underrated. These were just 5 things that I picked. All of these things are free, so just keep that in mind. These are not rare egg machines that are, underrated, because that could be a whole lot of, just a whole other list. So here's just 5 of them, and I'm kind of gonna cheat, and one of them's kind of a twofer, so just so you know ahead of time. So first up is the Amberjack. This guy is pretty underrated for early game people because he just is pretty decent. You can get him without really any trouble. All you need to do is buy the dungeon in the coin thing. It only costs coins. You don't have to pay real money or anything like that. Just use coins from in-game, and then you can unlock however you say this, Toyama Bay, I think that's what the collab is called. I don't know. Let me scroll down just a little bit to make sure. Oh, no, it isn't. It's Takanoka City collab. So if you get that one, then you can get this guy. And as you can see, you can get him in, well, you can upgrade him into 5 forms, which is a lot. He's double water, he's 6 stars, he only costs 30, so he's pretty low. He's just physical. He does have a good amount of hit points. His attack and RCV are somewhat lacking, but that's okay. Mostly you want him for his active, because his active skill is just really good, especially for other people that need either water or heart, or water and hearts. Somebody like Andromeda works really well. I think Lakshmi, other people that are water ones, or you could just use it with the water dragon that you start with, also works great as leader. But yeah, really changing dark to water and then wood to heart is just really nice, as well as you can see, these all have it, so it's not too hard to get these and just stack them on him. As you can see, he really doesn't take that much to evolve either. Just 2 water lids, or sapphire lids, sorry, then just a water mask, and then up to dub mythlets, which could be difficult if you're somewhat of a new player and you just can't do the dungeon, at least the Friday dungeon very well. You could still get them from the rare egg, or not the PAL machine. So that's also a possibility. And then his other form, none of this stuff is particularly hard to get, simply because the keeper ones, you can just kind of cheat and use the ogres as the leaders. So even if you have a terrible team, you didn't get anything in the machine, just shove an ogre as your leader on there, and then you'll just be able to do all of the keeper ones up to rainbow. So that's really nice. The blue gem, you're probably going to have to get it out of the machine, so it might be a pain for you to roll that, but it is possible. His awoken skills aren't really that great. It's just 3 water pluses, which isn't bad early on. It just makes it so your waters are more likely enhanced. And then his leader skill is okay. 3 times attack when attacking with fire, water, and light orbs at the same time. Physicals get 1.35 times more health. So leader skill not bad. Active skill really good, and just overall decent stats. That's why I think he's underrated, because he's just overall pretty good for the start. Later on, obviously, there's better things than him, but at the start, he's a pretty solid choice. Another one that could be considered here would be the Ramen Bowl, which is physical attacker, has decent stats overall. But mostly it has a lot of heals, and then, can't be poisoned. As well as active, it heals you for quite a bit, which is nice. This one is much harder to get, though, because in order to get it, you need to get 3 of these, upgrade them all into this one, and then get the squid, the shrimp, and the Amberjack up to his almost complete form, and then turn it into this. So it is a bit harder to get than the Amberjack himself, but it's still not impossible. So overall, either one's pretty good, as well as leader skill isn't bad either. Light and physicals get 2 times attack, 2 times hit points, so that's pretty good. So that's why he's here first up. Up next is the 2-for-1 that I said. First up is Mystic Pendant Dragon. Folklore, which can be kind of a pain to get since it's pretty much only in a couple dungeons that are descended and then in the technical dungeon, which can be somewhat hard for people to get up, but I think he's still worth mentioning. He's Devil Machine Dragon, which is pretty cool typing. Water Fire, 7 stars, and then 35 cost, so he does not cost that much. His stats are overall pretty average, I would say, for the things around this level that you'd be getting, at least that are free, so, you know, nothing really spectacular there. Mostly it's his leader skill and his active skill that I wanted to talk about, because I think he's a really good sub on teams. Same with like the Amberjack's probably a better sub than a leader, but usually want this guy as a sub because his active is switch places with your leader activated to use it back. So if you get this down, it's only 3 turns. So you could potentially do it right away. I mean, if you have skill boost, he already has 1. So if you have 2 other skill boosts, it's already off cooldown if it's maxed. But when you switch, then all attributes gain 5 times attack when hit points are less than 5%. So if you're at really low health, you do a ton of damage with everything, and that's what's going to be in the second part of this. The second one is Noah. Noah, I think, is also a really good sub for early people if you can get her. Her dungeon isn't particularly super difficult, but it can be a pain for lower people to do. So, but together, if you combine her and the Mystic Pendant Dragon, you can do a lot. As you can see, she has massive hit points. She doesn't cost too much at 40, and then her attacks, okay. Her RCV is non-existent, so. But mostly it's her active here, which is Vaston. Inflicts water damage equal to 200 times attack to one enemy in exchange for dropping your life points to 1. And then the effect, okay, this affects that. And then it's changed all orbs to water orbs. Although this does take a long time, as you see 30 turns or 15 turns when it's max skilled. You know, you'll have skill boosts, so it'll be dropped down a little bit, as depending on how much your team does. Her leader skill is pretty good if you just wanted to run a god team, particularly a god water team. But with this case, you probably wouldn't want her as a leader. You probably want her as a sub along with Pendant Dragon, and then maybe have like the water, if you have the water dragon, the water starting one, to be your leader. At least that, and then maybe the other Pendant Dragon, if you can get a friend with a Pendant Dragon as the other leader. Then you use this, switch places with your leader, and then you get the 5 times damage. And if you have 2 Pendant Dragons, that's 5 times of 5 times, so you get 25 times damage, so long as they're leaders and you're at low health. And then again, you could just, you know, switch back if you just needed it for one big hit on something. That's also a possibility. So that's why I think she's kind of underrated. She wouldn't be as underrated as some of these, I would say, but she's still somewhat underrated, I would say. And, you know, you could do the same thing with Goemon, just probably better with a fire team. It's just, Goemon's not really underrated. Everybody knows that he's a really solid lead, so that's why he's not going to be on here. Okay, the next one is going to be Uzunami. Uzunami is pretty strong, especially in her full form, where she's pacifying Yomi goddess Uzunami. Now, her dungeon can be a pain for new players, similar to Noah's. It can be kind of a pain for you to do, but it's definitely not impossible. She's God Physical, she's Dark Fire, she's 8 stars, and she costs 70, so she does cost quite a bit. She has really high health, pretty high hit, or pretty high attack, and then pretty low RCV, which is kind of to be expected from a physical anyway. But her skill is just really useful. 35% damage reduction for 3 turns. If you get this to its lowest, then it's 6 turns. So if you actually have 2 of these on the same team, you can pretty much constantly have 35% damage reduction the entire time, which again is pretty nice. That doesn't mean you necessarily have to have 2 though. One of them works just fine, because, you know, you look at the dungeon, something big and scary is coming up, you can make sure that you have 35% damage reduction for the next 3 hits, which is pretty dang useful. Her leader skill can also be quite useful, which is 25% hit point reduction. Now, that's your hit point reduction, not the enemies. So you lose 25% of your maximum health. If you have two of them, it's not 25 and 25 added, where it would be 50% health reduction. Oop. It's 25% of 25% added to the first 25%. So it's somewhere around like 37.5% health reduction overall. So you're losing about a third of your health, but you're gaining 4 times attack for physicals and gods. So if you have two of them, that would be 16 times attack, which is quite a lot. But mostly I would say that she's a really good sub for a dark team, especially early on, and even later on she can be a really solid sub for a dark team, or even for a physical or god team, or even for a fire team, since she is partly fire. So overall, she's just a really strong and really good free thing. As well as she has 3 auto heals, which is really nice. Okay, the fourth one I'm gonna say is the 5 mech dragon combo Demon Hatter. Now, he is pretty strong, but I still think he's overlooked. He's Dragon Machine Devil, he's Dark Fire, he only costs 35, which is pretty good, it's pretty low. As you can see, he has really high hit points, really high attack, really low RCV. But his active and his leader skill are both pretty good. His awokens aren't bad since he has a Dark Row and a 2-prong and an auto heal skill plus. All those are pretty decent awoken skills. But his active is deal 30,000 dark damage to all enemies affected by, or this is affected by enemies element and defense. Enhance dark orbs, 6% per orb up to 180% for a full board. Now obviously you can see this drops very low if you can get him buffed up, and he's also really easy to get all those awokens for. All you got to do is get 5 hatters at least. That might be hard for some people, thinking, you know, oh, I can only get 1, and that's okay. But if you can just keep farming him, just keep farming him, and then fuse 5 of them onto him, and then, well, fuse the other 4 onto 1, and then upgrade him, and then he'll already have all of his awoken skills. And then you can just keep trying to fuse as many of them onto him as you can to drop this down to the 5 turns, which at 5 turns, it's really useful. I mean, constantly enhancing your dark orbs is just really nice. So you can just constantly get more and more damage without really having to worry about it. The material used for him can be kind of a pain with all the dragons that you need. You have to get the other mech dragons, and then you have to get a Keeper of Gold, which again can be a pain if you don't already have one from like the PAL machine or something. I know how hard Keeper of Gold can be because sometimes I still struggle with it. So, but overall, he's just really strong. I forgot his leader skill. Dark attributes and machine cards get 2 times attack, 2.5 times attack. And then machines get 1.5 times hit points. So if you only have machines, you get attack and hit points. If you're just going to use him on a dark team, then you just get the attack and no hit points. Well, he'll get the hit points, but not all your team will if they're not all machines as well. So generally, you know, you could, dark machines would probably be the best thing to go with him if you wanted that. But overall, he's just a really strong guy with really high stats and is free, so that's really nice. And then the last one that I think is on here that's going to be underrated is Nobunaga. This is the Unwavering Demon Dragon Nobunaga. Not actually Nobunaga from the Rare Egg Machine, who's a lot better. He is a Dragon Attacker Devil. He's Dark Fire, and he costs 35, so it doesn't cost too much to put on your team. As you can see, he has really high hit points at 45-40, and then really high attack as well as pretty decent RCV as well. So overall, he's just got really high stats. His active is inflict dark damage equal to 30 times attack to all enemies affected by enemy's element and defense. Attacker types get 1.5 times attack for 2 turns. This can be dropped down to 7 turns at max, otherwise it's 19 turns. So he can be quite good for an attacker team, particularly a dark attacker team, because he deals just more damage, and he's already the element of it, which is kind of nice if you already have all dark things. As well as he's just a slight buff. There are better things, or there's better buffers, So if you're just looking for like an attacker buff, probably the Flamey's better for you. But if you just want high statted things, then he's a pretty high statted one. His leader skill isn't bad. Dark attributes and attackers get 2.5 times attack and 1.5 times RCV. That's okay. Then all of his leader skills, or his evolvement skills, are actually pretty good. It's enhance every orb except for hard orbs, and then 2 skill boosts, which is nice. He does take all the samurai dragons though. So, and the honorable dragon as well. So that one can be kind of a pain to get. But overall, he's just a really strong card. If you want an attacker, if you want a dragon, if you want another dark thing, if you want a devil, he just kind of fits with all of those. So he's overall just a really strong card is the thing. He's not particularly great in one thing or another, and that's why there's usually better cards than him. But overall, he's pretty strong, and I think overlooked because of that. Alright, then we're going to look at the Halloween machine that's going to be coming up in just a couple days, I assume. At least in the US. I'm not sure if it's already came up in Japan or whatnot. So as you can see, first one is Misery, who is Devil Machine, change top row into Poison Orbs, reduce damage taken by 50% for 1 turn, leader skill 2.5 times attack and RCV, with 4 or more combos, 3.5 times attack when matching 6 connected poison or mortal poison orbs. As well as she has the most auto heals, I think, out of anything, which is quite a lot, as well as 2-prong and that. All those are pretty nice, and she's not bad for... She reminds me a lot of Hell, which can also work quite well. So overall, pretty strong card, I think. You know, I don't think she's going to be like top tier or anything, but she's pretty strong. We have Mulan, which is double dark, dragon balanced, active skill, 10 times own attack, nuke all enemies, 3 turns bind recovery. The bind recovery is pretty nice. I mean, the nuke at all enemies attack really isn't anything too special. Leader skill, 2 times attack, 2 times hit points for dark and for dragon and balance types. She can't be bound, and she's got 3 skill boosts. Overall, if you got her when you're low level, she's fine. But later on, she's gonna be pretty lackluster. I mean, her stats aren't particularly super high. She is low cost though, so I could see her being used on certain teams for certain dungeons, particularly the higher descended ones like Lynthia and Zayrog and whatnot, because she'll level up faster. Then we have Parvati, which is wood dark, balanced devil, change water orbs to heal orbs. Okay, 3 times attack for wood cards. Pretty straightforward, and she's got 3 poison resist, a 2-prong, a devil killer, and a dragon killer. So she's pretty good, especially if you got her early. Later on, she could still fit into different teams, I imagine. I'm not exactly sure what teams, but definitely if you got her early on, she'd be really strong. We got Corinne, and we actually have 2 versions of her. One that's water dark, the other one that's dark water. They're both god dragons. Active skill is change the board to water, wood, and dark orbs. 3 times attack when it's, or 3.5 times attack when attacking, with 3 of water, wood, dark, or heal orbs. 2 times attack when matching 5 connected with 1 enhanced orb. And as you can see, she's got nothing but orb enhances, so it's going to be pretty easy to do that. If you got this early on, or the other one early on, definitely a really good leader. Possibly a pretty good sub later on, and even a pretty decent leader. You know, up into the later game, yeah, she wouldn't be way great, but she'd be okay. As you can see, this is the other one. The difference is that one has all of the dark orbs, one has all of the water orbs. Also, she's not wearing leggings here, and her hat is different, it looks like. Yep. Alright, then we got Sona Grand, which is by far the best one that's going to come out in this. This one is absolutely amazing. She's light dark, only dragon type. Active skill is 2 times orb movement, timer for 2 turns, 2 times attack for dragon types for 2 turns, which is the same as Sona Grand reverse. which is really strong as an active for a dragon team, or for a team that just needs more time to move, which is what her leader skill is. If you don't know, she has pretty much the same leader skill as Shadis Roots, which is actually the leader that I'm using currently the most of, and there's just a little bit of a difference. The leader skill is increase attack when attacking with 4 attributes or 3 attributes plus a heal. Scales up to 7 times attack, 1.5 times HP and attack for dragons. The Shadis Roots is the same thing, just with RCV instead of HP. So it's actually really cool that this one's coming out. They actually have the same Awokens too in the same order, which is odd. But really, it would be really cool to have both of them as leaders, because one gives you the bonus RCV, one gives you the bonus health. So that's really nice. As well as the 7 times attack is a lot of attack, plus the slightly increased to dragons, meaning that if you hit all elements and your whole team is dragons and you have all the elements on your team, you do 110 times damage, which is a lot. And that's not including if you used her active skill, where she gets 2 times more attack added to that. So you'd be doing 220 times attack by just matching up those 7 things of orbs, or 6 things of orbs. And that's not considering the damage of the orbs, or even the attack of your monsters added to it. So you could do a lot of damage. As you can see, her Awoken skills are pretty good too. Skill boost, skill resist, 2 time extenders, a 2-prong, and God Killer, which is also really nice. As well as her stats are pretty high, pretty above average, I would say. Then we got Undine here, who is Water Dark, Balance Devil. Activate, voids fire damage for 3 turns, enhances water orbs. Pretty nice. Leader skill, 2 times hit points for water cards, 2.5 times attack when matching, 5 connected with 1 enhanced orb, which is going to be really easy with all of her enhances. She's definitely going to be a pretty good card to get if you got her early on, simply because she could heal you up so easily with just all of these heal pluses, and then water orb enhances are also pretty nice. Even though she's not a healer, she still has pretty good RCV. So definitely a good card early. Could be used even later on, especially in certain dungeons, particularly fire dungeons if you need it, just to avoid the fire damage. So then we got Chiyomi, I think is how you say her name. I don't think that's right though, but Dark Fire, Balance Devil, active, changes wood to dark orbs. Okay, pretty cool. Leader skill, 2 times hit points and 2.5 times attack for balance types. And then she's got a pretty good amount of Awokens here. 2-prong, a dark row, 2 skill boosts, Dragon Killer, and a skill bind resist. All of which are pretty nice, especially if you got her early on. Because it'd be really easy to build a balanced team around her. Because it just kind of fits. Getting more hit points and attack puts balanced a bit higher, so you could just use that. I mean, getting something like a Woodsy or a Choo Choo would not be difficult to put on the team, especially if you already had her. So up next is Razul, who is Dark Fire, Devil Attacker, active skill, change lights to hearts. That's pretty good if you need it, you know. Leader skill, 1.5 times or 1.25 times attack and RCV for devils and attacker types, 3 times attack for fire, for a fire dark or a dark dark combo. Leaders, Woken skills, sorry, I can't speak. Skill boost, can't be bound, bind recovery, and 3 2-prongs. As well as she's got pretty high attack to go with those 2 prongs. Is pretty nice. Overall, if you got her early on, definitely a good one. If you got her later on, I could definitely see her being used for certain teams. I'm thinking possibly the Black Grimmery. If you already have her, I think she could be pretty good there. I'm not exactly sure what the Grimmery needs though, but definitely not a bad card. Definitely good. Then we have Zhang Mei, which is only dark, only devil. Pretty much like the one that you can just buy, just dark, not fire. And I'm not sure if she's devil in that form either. But active randomly spawns 6 heal orbs from non-dark orbs and 1 turn haste. That's pretty cool. Leader skill 1.5 times hit points and 2 times attack for devil types, 3 times attack for 2 heart combos, 4.5 times attack for 3 combos. So you could actually do quite a lot of damage with her. As well as she has really high stats overall. I mean, massive RCV, really high attack, and decent HP. It's not bad. Her cost would kind of suck though at 99, so early people would be kind of bummed out to get her and not have enough team cost to put her on, but you'd still have her and she would still be worth keeping. She has 2 skill boost, time extender, skill bind resist, dark row, and attacker killer, which is all really nice. And I think this is the last one, which is going to be the boss. I don't know how to say her name. She's got Dragon. Activates a random skill from a skill pool. We don't know what that is yet, so who knows how good that's going to be. Leader skill, no Skyfall connections, so you have to do everything on the board. 1.5 times attack and RCV for water cards. 5 times attack for exactly 7 combos. So overall, she's actually probably one of the best free things from a dungeon that's just going to come out. Simply because if you're good at making combos with what you got on the board, you would have a lot of attack. So you could do a lot of damage with her. Because this would be 5 times and 5 times, it'd be 25 times. And then you'd add another... Hold on, let me pull up my calculator and do this. Now you can kind of see it over here. But 1.5 times 1.5 times 25. So if you had 2 of them, which you could, you and your friend could get or something like that, or you and just some other random person could get, it would be 56.25 times damage if you managed to get 7 combos with her, and your whole team was water. So, pretty nice. As well as she has double blind recover, or double blind resist, skill resist, skill boost, 2 prong, and then 2 time extenders. All are pretty nice. So, as well as her stats are pretty high. She does, however, take the full Uzunami, which could be a pain to get, and Watasumi, which again could be hard to get. This is her in her other form. I'm not sure if she has the same leader skill. If so, it wouldn't be that bad to have her just as that, because if she has the same leader skill, it's going to be pretty good. Overall, that's everything I have to say. Most of the Halloween things are really cool, and the underrated things, I believe, are still fairly underrated and could really help if you're new to the game, or if you just need something to go along with one of your teams. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys have been having a good day, keep on having a good day. If you guys have been having a bad day, I hope this video made your day just a little bit better. I hope to see you guys next time. Till then, stay cool, and bye.